Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Hey, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. Today's topic is one a lot of successful people don't talk about out loud. NFL quarterback Jameis Winston revealed that his family was spending nearly, get this, $400,000 a month, and he allowed it. That kind of pressure isn't unique. Many high earners lose millions because they don't know how to say no to the people they love. So today, we're talking about boundaries, guilt, and the financial traps that show up when success hits your doorstep. And to start this conversation, we have a beautiful, beautiful royal court. We have our big coach, Dr. Felice Hightower is in the house. And fresh off the plane from Italy is our doctor of all doctors, Dr. Charm is in the house.
Hey.
And you know me, I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, and we are here to peel this thing back. Ladies, I'm going to start with you, Dr. Charm. Dr. Charm, can you relate to this topic at all? Has this ever hit your doorstep being a doctor?
Well, honey, I sure wish I had $400,000 a month to give to myself and my family. However, I do identify with the survivor's guilt or the survivor's remorse. And that's one thing I've been actively working on just in my emotional life of releasing any feelings of guilt, because it's not healthy. It's not a healthy emotion. It's really not beneficial at all. But identifying it, I think, has been the first step in my life. So I can definitely identify with this NFL. It was an NFL, right? This NFL player and having that survivor's remorse.
How about you, Dr. Felice? Can you identify with this at all?
No, not at all. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being able to deal with it. And even when I get into my billionaire status, I still don't want to be able to relate to that. I believe in boundaries, and I believe that, we all have a responsibility to carry out our journey the best way we know how. And it shouldn't be only on one person that everybody in the family depends upon in order to be able to make them and get them all out. Like, he can still be a support and love on them and help them and even help build legacy with his family without having to go into that level of mismanagement of funds, because that's what it is. It's a gross mismanagement of his funds to be spending and having people spend $400,000 of his money in a month.
Okay, and that, from what I understand, it was not just in a month; it was 400,000 per month. So that was, month after month after month, we had these people, the people that we love, our family members, spending money. So that raises the question, and I'd like to know what you and that are joining us in the chat today, and we welcome you to the conversation as well. What are your thoughts? Do you think that high earners actually have a responsibility to support their families? I'm going to throw that question to you, Dr. Charm. Do you feel that, the people that make it, the people that we supported, we went to the Little League games and the high school games and the college games, and we were in the stands rooting for you. Now that you have reached that level of success, do you have a responsibility to support your family?
Absolutely not. Now, I do agree with them maybe retiring their parents, because, if I had that type of income, I would not want my mother to be getting up to go to work at the post office or something of that sort. But all the other family members, I agree with setting them up in a business or some type of venture that's going to benefit them in the long run by helping them to generate their own income.
What about you, Dr. Felice? Do you think that it is the responsibility of the high earner, now that you have made it? We placed all our high hopes on this one individual, and you've made it. You have responsibility to the family. Do you think that's the case?
No, I don't. But I do think I personally would feel a responsibility, and I don't even want to say it's a responsibility. I would want to be a blessing to my mother. So that she's in a good space and that her latter years were better than her former years. Like I want that blessing for her, but I don't believe it's a responsibility for my other family members. And it shouldn't be necessarily based on a higher elevated socioeconomic status. Like we should all be contributing to our family in ways. And it doesn't necessarily mean that just because now I'm in a different tax bracket, that responsibility is there. If I want to help the people in my family, whether I have $1 to 1 billion, then that is something that I'm going to do based upon what I feel I want to do, but not necessarily out of responsibility, but because that's what I want to do.
I guess that when I hear this, I think about just our community and where we are as a people, and the fact that a lot of times the one person that makes it is that person in our family that we lay all these responsibilities on. We've laid our hopes and our dreams in them, and they fulfilled the dreams of the family, and in some instances even the community. And so in some regards, I think I can relate to people having that expectation, although I cannot say that I necessarily agree that person, that one individual is responsible for carrying the weight of the world. But I do understand how we, especially people that have never been that close to money before, may have that mindset that your money is our money. And with that being said, let's go to our first video of the day and just kind of see what's going on with the video, what other people are thinking about this.
I'm not a big person of regrets, but I do one thing. Just early on in my career, it got to a point to where I enabled the people around me to spend like $400,000 a month. Like it was a month, bro, like on clothes, trying to do stuff on eBay, trying to flip stuff. Because when you see 8 figures, like you're like, oh man, this ain't going nowhere. But when you read your monthly statement, and you see a number that you're not even, like, if you're not touching it, man, you see, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And you see that number, you're like, oh, nah, this ain't gonna go.
Okay, Dr. Charm, when you heard that video just now, what were your thoughts? And in particular, there was one thing that he said that struck me when he said, when you're not touching it. So that means he wasn't spending it. What was your initial thoughts?
I mean, I think it's actually insane. And I mean, he's like one kneecap rupture away from not having that type of income. I mean, especially something that depends on your physical body. And he hasn't been in the league 30, 40, 20, 30 years. So he just got in the league. So to have that, I think as Black American people, we have been so economically deprived. And I think sometimes what my grandmother used to say, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. People not used to nothing. And then they see, okay, we've got access to this. And I think his family probably just went crazy, to be honest. And I think part of it is a little bit of human nature, but there have to be fail-safes in place. And at the end of the day, I like that he used the word enable. If y'all notice that he used the word enable, because it is enabling to do things like that.
I agree. Dr. Felice, your thoughts on the video?
I think it's very sad that we can kind of take advantage of people who did their job. Like he did what he was called to do. He became an expert at his gift and his talent. and he is rewarded for it. And now everybody, and don't get me wrong, this is a cultural thing too. Like, we have been Americanized. And so there are other cultures who embrace this in a way that we just don't see how to do it yet. But I don't think that in those other cultures, they take advantage of it. It is more collective and spread out and reciprocal. And so when he says enable, that is a great word, because how does he help his other family members know that they too can create their own paths for wealth without squandering his? Because they're literally squandering his wealth to where $400,000 a month, add that up. So someone said that he's getting $8 million a year. Do you know how quickly that $8 million can be squandered if those people are spending $400,000 a month, and where they haven't generated a way that he can kind of keep that money flow coming? They could be in the poorhouse like in less than 2 years doing that. And so they have to create a way and a system by which they all figure out their own path, and that money can help them to actually do that instead of squandering it for him.
All right. Well, I'm going to share my thoughts, but right now we've got to go to our first commercial break, and you come on back after the break and we'll continue this discussion.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow.
So, Jameis Winston opened up about letting his family spend $400,000 a month. Jameis signed a 4-year, $25 million contract with the Bucs. He said a $400,000 a month burn rate would have depleted his $25.25 million contract in 5 years. An estimated 78% of NFL players go bankrupt or under financial stress within 2 years of retirement, according to CNBC. Ocho, have you ever heard such a thing of letting family, friends, and loved ones burn through basically $5 million a year?
No, never heard of that. And my family wouldn't even disrespect me or try or even indulge in a situation like that. When I make it, I take care immediate family for the sacrifices, for the things that they've done to help me get to where I am, keeping me on the right track. But all that feeling entitled after the fact, it ain't happening.
No,
it's not happening.
No,
it's not happening, because I understand this has to last me long term. I understood that early.
I mean, I don't think people realize how much $400,000 a month is. I don't think they realize. I mean, he had to be buying houses and cars because $400,000.
Yeah, and you got to be careful. The people in this era, everybody rich, y'all. You can't tell them nothing. Everybody rich. All the hypotheticals on Twitter, all the hypotheticals on Instagram. Oh, $100,000 ain't no money, man. What the heck?
100,000 is the new 10. $1 million is the new 100,000.
What is y'all talking? What's y'all out here
y'all
doing?
talking some bull jive.
Hey, they be killing.
When they start talking about, hey, this ain't no money, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, okay.
All right, welcome back. If you are just tuning in and joining our conversation today, we are talking about NFL player Jameis Winston's revelation that he has allowed his family to basically blow through $400,000 a month of his NFL earnings. And we want to know your thoughts. If you're just joining us, go ahead and drop something in the chat. We want you to be a part of this conversation. Now, before the break, we were just talking about the previous video, and Dr. Williams didn't get a chance to share her thoughts. And I just kind of want to add this video and my reaction to this video as well. I am certainly in agreement with both Shannon Sharp and Ocho in that I think the thing that's concerning to me is that Jameis did not even appear to be cognizant of what was going on with his money. And so that raises another question, I guess, in my mind, Dr. Felice. I'm going to throw this one to you. When you are the income earner, how, I get that you out there on the field, whether it's the football field, the baseball field, the basketball court, I get that, but how in tune and in touch should you be with what's going on with your own finances?
Very much in touch, but that's the divide, right? Like with Black people, we really are behind when it comes to how to handle money and to be financial stewards. No one really teaches us, now it's coming along now, but no one really teaches us how to handle money. Like that should be a class in elementary school, like how to help people, do their finances and budget and figure out how to have a bank account. Like we're not taught money. And when these dudes go into like NFL and the NBA, why aren't there people or mentors that are there to help them to manage this? A lot of times they don't know how to do it. And his heart is right, but he probably wasn't in position to really know what that looks like and how to manage his funds. And my only thing when I was looking at that video was only thing that kept coming to me, I try not to talk about celebrities and stuff, but Shannon Sharp blew $100 million.
Yeah, awesome.
Was somebody who wasn't even family, right? He missed out on $100 million to build legacy wealth with somebody who wasn't even a part of his family. So I don't know how he can really speak to this yet.
Yeah.
But okay. But I'm just saying that a lot of times we do need to find somebody that can help us be a good steward over our finances. And we have a responsibility to do checks and balances. Especially with that level of money, you should be knowing what's coming in and what's going out at all times. Like that is something that he needed to be on top of, period.
Well, and I to your point, I didn't even think about that. You are absolutely right, Mr. Shannon Sharp. Now we hear what you're saying, but we know what you spent your money on, and it was not a person that was in your family, sir. But that being the case, Dr. Charm, question for you, because I heard this said a couple of times, and somebody put it in the chat a few minutes ago. I would help my immediate family. So how do we define immediate? Okay. So when we say immediate, are we talking about, our mom and our dad? Are we talking about
parents and children? And here's the parents and children to me, that's what all the other financials or bureaucracy considers immediate family. Even if you get bereavement on your job, it's like if somebody died, you get bereavement pay. Oh, it's got to be an immediate family member, mother, father, or child. So I think that even with the immediate family, you got to watch it, because look what happened with Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams is over there sitting in this jail right now in this conservatorship, and what triggered it is because and she admitted that in one of the documentaries that her son was overspending on her credit cards and things, and it triggered a flag from the bank. And then the bank got involved, and they were able to finagle her into that conservatorship, where she needs to be, free Wendy. But on the other hand, I think that Wendy has always been pretty smart with her money. I think that these celebrities that have access to this type of money, set your family up with a business, set your family up, put people through school. Like I think Wendy helped, like her niece is like a news anchor, and her niece has been really involved with helping her try to get out of that conservatorship. Wendy put her son through college. She was paying for his college tuition and his apartment and everything while he was in school. So put people through school that want to go to school, if they need some seed money to start a business. But who is spending like $400,000 a year? Put that in the stock market or invested that in something that's low risk. That $400,000 will be yielding all kinds of money. So it's just reckless to do that.
Well, As your life and legacy planning strategist, I think this is a good opportunity for me right here to make a plug. When we start talking about those conservatorships, I want to encourage us to get our affairs in order. Go ahead and identify the people that we want to speak on our behalf and to act on our behalf should we become incapacitated. So there will be no need for a judge to appoint someone to handle your financial matters for you. I had to throw that plug in. I mean, you just opened the door for me, Dr. Charm, and I appreciate it.
Dr. Sabrina.
I had to do it. So let's get back to this discussion. Dr. Felice, that brings up something. You know, when we ask that question about immediate family members, should we then, even if we say or determine that we're going to help our immediate family, should we have a budget for them?
Absolutely. And some guidelines about what does that need to look like? Like, what are some parameters that you need to put around that? And what are the expectations, right? Like, what is it that you expect from me being in this role and how I can help contribute to you being okay? Like, is it a house? Is it a car? Is it a trust that I need to create so that you have a certain level of money that comes in every month to help take care of you? Like, find those parameters and put those things in place. And of course, have it, make it legal, make it something structured so that it doesn't get out of hand and that there are some safeguards that are put on it so that people know what they can expect and that they can't go over this amount, because those people also may not know how to handle money and how to really do it the right way. And it doesn't go to their heads and they blow things. So like educate. They need people like you. Like, get somebody who is educated, who can come in and help the family really set up a plan of action for the immediate family members, and to know you got to do something productive with this gift that I'm blessing you with. Like, you just can't sit here. Like, maybe your parents can sit here, but even the siblings who are the immediate family, you just can't sit here and get this money. You got to do something with it. You either got to go to school, you either got to create a business, but you got to do something that also contributes and helps generate more wealth with the blessing that I'm giving you. So, a lot of times it's not good to just give and hand people something. You got to have something that helps educate them to build upon, so that they know how to use it properly and not lose it when it is gone.
I like that. Dr. Charm, we're going to throw that same question to you, but it's time for us to take our second commercial break. So we'll pause right here, and after the break, same question for you.
I know you're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
These 6 NFL millionaires were nearly drained by their own families. Jameis Winston, at his peak, had over $75 million in career contracts. During his worst period, he handed his debit card to relatives, and their monthly spending nearly hit $400,000, pushing him close to bankruptcy. Trent Richardson, when he entered the league, signed contracts worth over $20 million. A documentary later showed his friends and family spent $1.6 million in a single year, enough for the bank to flag it. Warren Sapp, over his career, made more than $80 million. He gave his family over $75,000 a year and covered multiple relatives' mortgages and car payments, eventually collapsing his cash flow. Michael Vick, at his peak, earned over $100 million. Before his legal trouble, he was already stuck paying relatives' debts and buying houses and cars, ending up more than $18 million in debt. Des Bryant, with over $70 million in career contracts, had dozens of people living off him, leaving his actual wealth far below his contract numbers. Pac-Man Jones, despite earning over $30 million, had relatives repeatedly use his bank cards without permission to buy luxury items and vacations, severely draining his assets.
All right, we're back. So we see, based on this last video, that this is not a one-off. This is something that happens repeatedly. Today we're focused on NFL player Jameis Winston, and we just watched the video, and apparently several other NFL players have experienced the same thing. So I go back to you, Dr. Charm. Should we then, those people that reach this high level of success, should they place their families on a budget?
Absolutely. And where is the business manager? Where are the business managers in all of this? Because this is grown people were meant to work. When you take away somebody's impetus and their ability to work, you're taking away their God-given right to self-determination. You know, it's not natural for people to just be sitting up, laid up like that. It's not natural. They need to be able to earn a living. That's probably why they're spending all that money, because they just don't know what to do. They were overwhelmed. But he needs to put these people to work, a business, a family business, put them through school, but they can't be sitting on their behinds, because then that's when people start being wastrel. We just gonna gamble and do drugs and just trick off the money on Magic City and stuff.
Well, you know, we're talking about Jameis Winston now, but as I think, I am of a certain generation, I guess I should say, where I can remember a young man by the name of MC Hammer. Does that name ring a bell to anybody? Ooh. That blew through a whole lot of money, and it was the people around him. But the thing
with him is that he kept people on payroll even when he didn't have a show. So that was kind of like, he would have because he had like 200 dancers. So he would keep them on payroll when he wasn't touring, and it was eating up, the income.
Well, but my point is, sometimes those people around us, whether they're family or those people that we feel responsible for, our employees, I mean, they can drain us to that point. So my question for you, I'll start with you, Dr. Charm. Should success come with boundaries from day one? And should wealthy people be okay with saying no?
Just say no. I think people don't have any maybe in a socialist society or a communist society, I don't know. But in this capitalist society that we have come up in, people don't appreciate something that they didn't work for, that they didn't earn. You don't have any appreciation for it. Even Oprah was complaining at one time. I remember when she had her show and she said, she bought her family big houses and this, that, and they were still asking her for money. And she said, well, I bought y'all houses and I bought y'all this. And they were like, well, now you bought us a big $1 million house. Now we got $1 million power bill. How are we going to pay the power bill? Like it really turns into a parent and child relationship instead of it being a family relationship. Just say no.
Well, and I think, Dr. Felice, I go back to something you said earlier, and it's so true. Even when we have, the means to be a blessing to our families, I think the biggest blessing that we could give them really is financial literacy, financial education, because the reality is most of us know our family members. We know the people that, if we drop $100,000 on them, that are going to take that money and go out and blow it. We know that. We know the people in our family that will probably take that money and do something wise with it. So that being the case, Dr. Felice, my question for you is, do we have those of us that have the money, or those that find themselves in a position where they have, wealth, do they have a greater responsibility to make sure that their family members receive the education that they need to be able to manage the money?
I think that I think that's a great stipulation to put in it. Like, you can't make people do something, but if they want to be a part of this, then these are the things that you would have to do in order to get this. So the choice is yours. You don't have to do it, but you also don't get this. And so I just think that, like what you and Dr. Charm have said, financial literacy is key, and you just can't hand people stuff, right? You know what I mean? Like, you got to teach people how to fish. Now, sometimes a hand up is okay, but when people start to get entitled and believe that that's something that they are supposed to have, that's where it gets into that gray, ridiculous area. We got to teach people how to be able to handle whatever it is, to handle the blessing. To whom much is given, much is required. And so when you are given a certain amount of things, you do have an elevated level of responsibility to make sure that you manage that and that you're a good steward over it. And when you just give people something without equipping them to be able to use it effectively, then shame on you. That's on you. And so you do have a responsibility to help people learn how to manage whatever you're getting ready to bless them with, or they can't have it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do we really do for our loved ones when we gift them things, whether it's money or, assets, whatever, and they are not in a position and they don't have the knowledge to properly manage those things? Dr. Charm, my question for you is, are we really doing them a favor? Use that example you use with Oprah. You give the person, the $150,000, $200,000 house, but these are people that are barely making it, paying a $30 light bill every month. Now they gotta go to, be able to afford the expenses that come with that lifestyle now.
Yeah, I mean, again, what he said is enabling. It's just like handing a crackhead, some cash. You know where their money is going to some crack. So we have to be. And here's the thing: like, he's an NFL player. These are athletes. They're not financial experts. They're not stock market people. They don't have insurance license or anything to do. Like, stay in your lane. And I think what happens is it really is a survivor's guilt, because you look up and you see $400,000 per month that's coming out of your account. And so that's what they said. Somebody's in the comments said it's 4.8 million a year, and you're making 8 million. So they're taking half of your income. You can't tell me, Dr. Felice, you the psychologist on the panel here, you can't tell me there isn't a psychological aspect to that's allowing this person to entertain this behavior, this dysfunctional behavior.
No, absolutely. And it is a psychological speak, like where survivor's guilt, or where like feelings of guilt for doing better than the others, right? Like what was it about me? What is so special about me that I've been afforded this and they weren't? I have the gift and the talent, but they don't. And then the pressure that comes with wanting to do right by your family, right? The pressure that they put on you, like, you see us here doing, you know what I mean? Like, all that we've done for you. And so you have to deal with that pressure. And then how do you really celebrate you're coming into this wealth when you've got people who don't have what you have? It's all these different factors that you got to deal with and struggle through. So you need a therapist on board. You need a financial analyst on board. You need some mentors, some people who are going to come along beside you to speak wisdom. And you need wisdom, a counsel around you. Like, and these kids coming up now, these men coming up now in the game, you've heard enough of these stories for people to actually start preparing you. You already know that your little fella is getting ready to go to the NFL. You know he's got the gift. So you got to start preparing for these things and putting these things in place before they get there. Like, by the time they get there, it's a little late, because who can you really trust by the time you're making this money that's going to do right by you? Like, it's going to be harder for you to trust who's going to be able to impart really good wisdom and strategy for you. So you got to start preparing before your children get to this stage where they're going to be making money. And so it takes a team, and it takes wisdom and counsel to be able to handle this and to mentally prepare them for what it means to come into this kind of money so soon, that is a lot to handle.
Yeah.
And whether or not you're even worthy of being in this position, you got to deal with that too. So you got to mentally prepare them and have people on board.
Well, it kind of sounds like you're saying to me they may need to stop by Fly Nubian Money and tap into some of these queens and our king off this platform for a little help. Now, with that being said, we're going to jump over here to a few stats. Money-related guilt is one of the leading causes of hidden debt among Black women. Money-related guilt. Financial enabling increases the risk of bankruptcy by 40%. The Black tax affects over 70% of high-earning Black professionals. 1/3 of lottery winners file for bankruptcy. 60% of professional athletes go broke within 5 years of retirement. 60%, you guys, 60%.
You got to worry about CTE. Now you got to worry about not having any money when you retire.
I know.
Knocked upside the head on the field.
I know. I mean, and if you going broke, within 5 years, you got to go out and, get a regular job, I guess, and struggle like many of the others of us and worry about having benefits if you do have CTE and all of those kinds of things.
But we all need to be learning financial literacy and having a plan no matter what you have in your bank account. You know what I mean? Because there's no guarantees. Life can change for everybody on a dime. You gotta have a plan. You gotta have a plan for how do you make sure you're gonna be okay with whether you got $1 to 1 billion. That's the importance of a plan. And we have got to start getting financial literacy and teaching it to our Black children while they're young. How do you start creating a financial plan for your money while you're young so that you don't run into these issues, right? Like this is like a classic narrative for our folk, and it's got to stop.
And somebody in the comments said, I think it was Robert, said that how come you don't see these type of situations happen with the white athletes? Well, I think one thing, the white athletes, they're operating with the higher net worth for their family members. They're not pulling their family members out of poverty. One thing,
right.
Whereas these athletes, okay, these are the ones that made it out. So then they've got the survivor's guilt. And then there's a very real thing that the other family members are probably in some type of economic deprivation.
Absolutely. And you mentioned poverty. I want to pause right there. I don't want us to gloss over that because a lot of times these athletes, Black athletes, do come from, impoverished conditions. Not all, don't jump on me now in the comments, not all, but some of them do come from poverty. So that being the case, do you think that people that come out of poverty feel a higher sense of responsibility or a higher calling to be generous to their family members and their friend circle because that's all they've ever known is poverty? Dr. Felice, I'll throw that one to you first.
I think you're onto something. I think that's right. And I think they don't have a money mindset. They don't know how to handle money. And so they get all of this money and they're like, they just passing it out. Like, you're going to be good. And before they even go, they tell their people, they set up the expectation. I got you. And so that's just like this loyalty, that they may have as well. And I do think that they possibly have a higher regard or a higher need to make sure that everybody that's in poverty with them come up. We all going to be on the come up. But that's not responsible. And so they don't know that though. Like if you don't know that, you don't know what you don't know. And then I think that they also are subject to a lot of fraud. People who are impoverished, they're also subject to a lot of fraud and fraudulent people who can come into their lives and just tell them anything. And they don't know, again, what they don't know. And so it's really, really unfortunate and a sad story that we hear this over and over again.
Okay, we're going to jump to another video, and then we're going to come back to this conversation.
Hey y'all, I just want to jump on here real quick. I'm currently at one of my present job sites. People sometimes say to me, "You're still working?" Yeah, I'm still working. Just because my son is in the NFL does not mean I need to retire. Now, don't get me wrong. If your son is in the first, second, third round draft, he's invested his money well, he should be good. But I need people to know that not only do they get taxed, each state they play in, they get taxed. And then they have to pay for an agent. They have to pay for workouts, food, sometimes travel. Their money is their money. I still got it.
Dr. Charm, your thoughts. Mother
That's
says
a real, that's
yeah.
a real mother. That's a real mother. She's not like, oh, I birthed you and I was in labor 35 hours and 10 days. And you owe me this and that. Like, that is a real loving mother, and I respect her because, well, you know, we left off talking about the people, the con artists, because then they got the baby mamas, you know, the women who deliberately get pregnant so that they can be set for 18 years. So yeah, shout out to that mom.
Dr. Felice. So she says every player is not making the multi-million dollars. You know, they're not signing a multi-million dollar contracts. They may just be signing $1 million contract. And to her point, you know, they got to pay taxes, they got to pay agents, they got to pay all these different people. So it's not a whole lot of money really left. And even in that conversation with Jameis Winston, I want to go back to that for a second and just kind of hear your thoughts on this. What I did hear was him talk about the $400,000 a month. And I think we did the math and we said something like that comes to the tune of 4.8 million per year. But we haven't even talked about the fact that out of 8 million, you still got to pay taxes. You still got to pay your agents. You still got to pay all these other people around you. So with that being said, are we even as a family, are we even considering the position that we're putting our loved ones in when we are standing there with our hand out without thinking about what type of expenses they have to incur?
It's almost as if they're their own little business, right? And that they have to pay out for everything. And that's what people don't understand. When they think you're in the NFL, they automatically think you have money. Well, first of all, a lot of those players that are in the NFL, they're not even making necessarily six figures. Not all of them are making six figures. And they're not making that money consistently. And I mean, like, if anybody want to get a groupie, you need to be on the baseball players, not the NFL. And so, like, and the NFL is even more subject to getting hurt. So it's so many different factors that I'm glad she pointed out. We got to educate people. We always assume it in people's pocketbooks, and we don't know what their pocketbooks really look like and what it entails. And so they really possibly can't really even afford to be giving out the handouts and the blessings to people like they think they should be, because they're like a little entity unto themselves and a little business that they have to manage. And so a lot of them are not even prepared to manage being on the NFL. Like when she said all of that stuff, I didn't know all of that stuff before she said it. And so that's a lot to consider, and that we need to know before we start asking and being entitled to somebody else's money. Like, we got to stay out of people's pocketbooks for real.
So, Dr. Charm, question for you. When we listen to this discussion and we see how it is basically impacting these players when they find themselves in a position where they can't say no. You know, a lot of times it's because of the guilt. They feel like they need to help family come up, friends come up. Should they then, or do you know, what are your thoughts on them basically putting in place some type of financial gatekeeper that can do what that may be hard for them to do? It may be hard for them to say no.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can invest in your business, cousin Ray Ray. You have to holler at my business manager. I don't handle none of that. I don't know nothing about any of that. Call him. There you go.
Okay. So I think we have one more video left. Let's jump to that real quick.
And I always explain this to people, like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use, save, invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car. I'm gonna give my mama a house. I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really 40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, and now you start breaking down the numbers. It's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting 8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position, like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime. Yeah, this job that I sacrificed my whole life for, they are giving me that. I didn't ask for the certain dollar amount or whatever, but we weren't taught about no financial literacy and all the way. We weren't
talk about it all the time.
We weren't taught.
When I listen to that video, I think it makes me very much aware of the need for platforms like the one we're on today, you guys. It makes me very much aware of that, because we just take for granted that people that have money, whether they come into it through being in the NFL or, win the lottery, we take for granted that they know what to do with the money. And the reality is, in many instances, they really don't, because, as Odell said, they have not had access to the type of financial education, the type of financial training that is necessary for them to manage money. And so I want to, as we get ready to bring this to a close here shortly, I want to know your thoughts, Queens, on this whole idea of wealth being both a blessing and a trap. Wealth can be a blessing and it can be a trap if we don't understand and if we don't know how to manage it well, and if we don't know how to say no. So, Dr. Felice, I'm going to throw this to you for final thoughts. Actually, I'll let you give your final thoughts, and I'll let you shout out to whoever you need to shout out, and tell us where we can find you. So is this wealth that comes through the form of, our loved ones, that's the NFL player, the soccer player, the basketball player, is it a blessing or is it a trap? What are your thoughts?
More money, more problems, right? And people take that for granted. We always say we want more. But what you should also ask is, can you give me the wisdom to handle what more means, and the capacity, the energy and the capacity, the mental capacity about what this more looks like? Because a lot of times you get more and you don't understand the responsibility that it comes with. And then you're thinking about these NFL players. Well, they're literally putting their bodies on the line, like every time they get out there and play, hurting, and the concussion stuff that they're going through, the stuff and the toll that it takes on their body physically. They're going to need that money just to make sure that they can even have a quality of life after this temporary job, because their job is very temporary, ends. And so, yes, they got to have a plan, and more money, more problems. I don't necessarily think that is a blessing versus a curse, but just know that more money, more responsibilities, more money, more people who want a piece of you. And so what does that mean for you? And how do you build a mindset and an energy that can match what those numbers look like? So love this platform. We here on this platform, including myself, please reach out to me to www.thebebigcoach.com, on Instagram, b.big.coach. DM me, message me. Let me know how I can help you with your money mindset.
Thank you, Dr. Felice. Dr. Charm, doctor of all doctors. She's doctoring everything. Dr. Charm, your thoughts on that. Is money, when it comes to these, big contracts that our loved ones sometimes find, laid in their lap, maybe even the lottery that some of us may win. Is that really a blessing or is it a trap? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it can be a blessing or a trap depending on what you do with it. Is this our final thought for the show?
This is.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you always hear these stories about the lottery winner saying it was the worst thing that ever happened to you. I think there was a lottery winner that ended up getting kidnapped and killed over the lottery money. So it's all about being wise about your bounty, because it is a blessing from God if you know what to do with it. You can find me on Instagram, CharmGirl77. I'm Dr. Charm. I love you all. Thank you for having me. It's been fun with all the day of the doctors.
The day of the doctors. I love it. I love it. I love it. And in case you don't know what she's talking about or what she means, we have 3 Black doctors on the platform today. Dr. Felice Hightower Britt, Dr. Charm, and Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams. And my final thoughts on this, you guys, wealth can be a blessing and both a curse and a trap. If it is, if it's not properly used, if you don't know how to properly manage it. And I think that in our community, now more than ever, now that more and more of us are finding ourselves on the right side of wealth, it is really something that we have to get a grip on. We cannot continue to have stories like a Jameis Winston, like even a MC Hammer back in the day. That was his experience, but we still talking about the same thing here, 20, 25, 30 years later. All of that can be rectified through proper financial literacy. And that is why it is so important for us to have platforms such as the one that we're on today. That is why it is so important for us to have a Black business school. There is no shame in not knowing. There is none whatsoever. If we have not been exposed to how to properly handle and manage money, there's no shame in that. But there is a responsibility for us to put ourselves on a pathway to learn better. And when we learn better, it is our hope that we will do better. Why do we need to do better? Because our community, our existence is dependent on it. We need that money put back into our community so that we can continue to build and we can learn to sustain our own, and not just be out there blowing money and having family members blowing money on cars and houses and all this stuff that, they really probably don't even need, just stuff they want anyway. But that being the case, that being said, y'all know who I am. I'm Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, so excited, and so delighted to be a part of this conversation today and to be on this platform today. So excited to be here today. Now, I know we had several people. I haven't been able to, I'm trying to learn how to multitask, you guys, and stay on the good side of our producer over here. So before we leave, I'm just going to jump over here and do just a couple of shout outs to those that are our loyal followers that join us every day. We thank you. We thank you for showing up and being a part of our conversation every day. Deborah will win. We see you, Miss Deborah. Thank you. Thank you.
Go, Deborah. Go,
Anonymous is in the house. Thank you, Anonymous, for tuning in today. The Real Black Lexicon was here today. We see you. We see you, Miss Dennis Spraggins. 6862. We see you. Thank you for joining. C. White is in the house today. Come on through, C. White. Come on through. We see you. We see you. We thank you. Miss Tracy Davis is here today and a part of this conversation. Robert Carson was a part of the conversation today. Robert, we thank you for tuning in today. We thank you for tuning in. And let's see. I'm trying to see if I can.
Anonymous been on good behavior today. I'm so shocked.
Oh man, double A.
You've been on real good behavior.
Anonymous has been nice.
I leave for a month and I come back. What did happen, Jesus?
Oh Okay. Thank you guys. We love you and we thank you for tuning in and supporting us every day. Now, I want to wrap this one up by thanking you again for joining the Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. Family and finances can get messy. Yes, it can. But today we learned that boundaries are wealth. Don't forget to text Queens, that's QUEENS, to 87948 to stay connected. See you tomorrow. Bye.